Vintage Backyard RC.
So for me, what started off with laying down a few pipes in my side yard to race my vintage cars around quickly turned into a full blown out RC circuit. I was totally hooked, and man, we had a ton of fun on that little plot of land. But we quickly found out that not all the neighbors appreciated having a dirt RC track right out in my front yard. So we had to do something about it. So I guess my first piece of advice here is, guys, find a spot of land on your property that's out of the way, won't annoy anybody. You guys can have your fun, enjoy yourself, and utilize the space that you have available to the maximum. So we had just fenced in our backyard, and right away I knew that an RC track had to go here. So the wife and I came up with an agreement. This space was going to be part track, part deck, and part family fun area. The first thing you need to think about is your lane width. This is the main determining factor on your layout as far as how it corresponds with the plot available to build your track. Now for me, that was about 4 to 6 feet wide. For what I do, it's perfect width. But if you're racing around more than 2 or 3 RC cars at the same time, you're going to want to be more towards that 8 to 10 foot lane width to make things more comfortable for everybody. Now for the fun part, time to design the track. Now I use Google SketchUp. It's a free program that allows you to plug in the actual dimensions of your property and toss in stuff like lane width, which gives you a true to scale result, allowing you to see what it's going to look like and be spot on when it's time to start digging. This is a big time saver. Now a pencil or a pen work just as good. Just try to scale it down as much as possible so you don't run into boundary issues when you're out building. Once I had a layout that I liked that maximized both track space and family space, I got to work out back. Alright friends, so today we're going to start building this track. The initial plan is to probably get some spray paint and map it out on the ground, see how it's going to flow, and then start pulling some grass. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I think I might go run a sod cutter, but we'll see. So stand by. So the first thing I had to do was remove the grass. Now I've done this before in the side yard, and I knew it wasn't easy. So I started looking at sod cutter machines. A sod cutter is a machine that undercuts the sod or grass with a motorized blade, leaving you exposed topsoil. Unfortunately, the rental for the sod cutter was quite a bit of money. Also, I already own this rototiller, so that's what I used. Now this machine works by churning the grass into the dirt. It's a lot of extra work because you have to remove that stuff to get clean, fresh soil to pack down. And they're effective, just a little bit more work. Next, I marked out the lanes with some spray paint. Then I got my lawnmower and put it at its lowest setting and cut the grass as low as I could possibly get it. Then I took a little track walk to see how I like the flow of things. If you're going to do it this way, I highly suggest you grab an RC car and take it for a spin on your new layout. See if you like the flow of it. You can always change things later if you don't. One big mistake I made was not removing this debris pile that I created when we put up the fence. Do yourself a favor and make sure before you begin anything, you clean up anything that's in the way of where your track needs to go. This created about 2 or 3 extra hours of work for me. So it was time to start destroying the lawn. I was definitely nervous making this first cut. Alright guys, here we go. First cut with the tiller. No guts, no glory, right? Can't go back now. After my first pass with the tiller, I started raking everything out with a metal hand rake. Once again, I was adding to that big debris pile. Oof. I had also planned on using those old grass and topsoil clippings for the ramps, but things changed. It was right about here that I realized I wanted a longer dirt straightaway and a little bit of a banked corner. Don't be afraid to change things on the fly. You don't have to go exactly to your plan. Just think about it and execute. Alright friends, so that's about 3 trips with the tiller. I've gone over it with a hard rake and then a leaf rake. If I had to do this again, I would have absolutely rented the sod cutter. This is at least a day's work, if not two, doing it this way. So if you're doing this at home, take a trip to the home improvement stores and rent that sod cutter. Now I utilize some homemade lawn tractor attachments to build and maintain the track. While this can all be done by hand, powered utilities such as this rake drag are a big time saver and really help churn up that dirt. There's no shame in coming up with creative ways to help you get the job done. This homemade spike roller both aerates and helps to start pack the dirt down. Here you can see the dirt really starting to lay down nice. I do have a roller attachment I built for the tractor as well. Now I do suggest you get yourself some type of hand roller. The push ones work just as good. If you can't get a hold of one of them, you can hand tamp, but you definitely need something to help pack the dirt down, especially after rototilling. You can even run your lawn tractor or say a quad over top of that dirt just to get the initial pack started. It's definitely convenient to have some type of machinery here, but again, you can do it by hand. This is after a few passes with the smooth roller. Here you can see I was having a little bit of an issue with some grass and debris making their way to the top surface of the track. Another shout out for that sod cutter I should have used. All I could think to do here was try to rake it out. So I started off with a metal hand rake, then moved on to a large leaf rake. This worked okay, but I got cut short by a heavy summer shower. This is where I ran into a huge problem. Without the grass in place to sop up all the rain, water started standing on the track and it created large puddles and a mud bog situation. Now I expected some mud, but not like this. And it's still a problem for me today. So please guys, when you're planning your layout, think about water runoff and drainage. After the rain, I did a final rake and rolled it out once more. I was really happy with how the dirt was turning out at this point, and I only had to do some touch-up raking in a few spots. I personally like the look of corrugated pipings on an RC track, but you can use boards or PVC pipe or things like old fire hose for your track boundaries, or just use the grass cutout as your boundary. That works great too. The pipe that I used is 3-inch drainage pipe. Now the normal stuff you find at brick and mortar stores is actually 4-inch. I like the look of the smaller pipe, and I was able to find it locally for a lot less money than what they have at those big box stores. To secure the tubing, I drove 12-inch galvanized landscaping nails through one end of the tube, stretched it out to its final destination, and spiked it on the other end with another nail. I then secured the pipe with 12-inch galvanized nails about 4 foot apart. Wow! For the first time I could see it coming together. All the hard work was paying off. Now I ran out of piping this day, so I had to get some more, but I was really getting excited. I got the final piping installed, and man, it's looking great. So now it was time to figure out the jumps. I decided in advance to make removable and repositionable wood ramps. This allowed me to change the layout when I wanted to, and cuts down on track maintenance. Keep in mind, anything you build out of dirt will require maintenance. And dirt ramps take way more dirt to build than you think they actually will. That little landing ramp in this picture was 4 wheelbarrows full of dirt. Imagine having to repeat that several times. It's literally a ton of dirt. For me, at the end of the day, I can put the ramps away, clean the track up, I gain yard space back, and the next time I run the track, my jumps are consistent. Be sure to check out our video on how we built these ramps, if you're interested in doing this as well. One thing you can't really do once you build your launch ramp is guess where the cars are going to land. So grab a car and send it a few times. Mark down where the car lands. It's really important to have a good flow from your launch to your landing ramp. Nothing's worse than having to awkwardly slow down before a jump, or worse yet, have a few RC cars that can't make it to that landing ramp. That's no good. Here you can see how we utilized both AstroTurf and outdoor carpet. Don't be afraid to add multi-surfaces to your layout. Definitely adds to the character of the track and can really make the layout challenging depending on what you decide to use. Experiment. So that's it guys. I think it turned out great, and I hope it helps inspire you to build your own backyard RC track. As far as maintenance goes, well, I have to weed about twice a month in the summertime, and I tend to try to roll the track and rake it at least twice a season just to keep it smooth. So get out there and get building. If you have any questions, be sure to hit me in the comment section. I'll be sure to help out. If you liked the video, thumbs up, please subscribe, and ring that bell. Oh yeah, rock on.